Hi, I'm Latham, and I'm 16, and I was wondering, is genetically engineered food bad for you?
Good morning. My name is Jeff Wolt. I'm a professor of agronomy here at Iowa State University. And someone asked me today to explain whether or not genetically engineered food is bad for you. Now, you know, when we say something's good or bad, that has a lot of opinion in it. And so as scientists, we sort of answer that question a little differently. We talk about whether or not the food is safe for us. And particularly for genetically engineered food, the question we ask is this food as safe as other foods that we already consume in our diet on a daily basis? And so we answer that through doing a lot of different studies. And these studies take place over a number of years. And before any food that's genetically engineered ever shows up in a grocery store, scientists have asked questions about food safety. One of the most important questions they ask is whether or not the food is toxic to animals. And so they do these studies. They're either short-term or long-term studies where they'll feed the genetically engineered food to animals and see how the animals respond and see if they're harmed. So far, all of the genetically engineered foods that you find in the grocery store have been shown not to harm animals. And scientists say that means it also will not harm humans. Another important thing that's done with genetically engineered foods is to ask whether or not people might have an allergenic response to those foods. That's a real hard question to answer. And the way it's answered is by doing a number of studies, some which ask, well, where did this genetically engineered food come from? What kind of genes does it have in it? Do they come from organisms that might be allergenic to humans that we know from history? We also look at the structure of the proteins in these genetically engineered foods, and if the structures are the same as other proteins that we know are allergens, then we might be concerned. And then finally, we're going to look at how much of this protein we're going to get in our diet to see whether or not we're exposed to it. Again, genetically engineered foods that you find in the grocery store have been evaluated for allergenicity, and they're not considered to be potential allergens. And then finally, one other very important study that's done is to look at the composition of these foods, to ask what kind of minerals and vitamins they contain, and to compare them to other foods that we eat every day that aren't genetically engineered, and say, are they any different? And these genetically engineered foods that we get in the grocery store aren't any different in terms of their composition. So what can we say about food safety of genetically engineered foods? Well, we know they're not toxic, so they won't harm us that way. They're not potential allergens, so they won't harm us that way. And they have the same composition of minerals and vitamins and other things that any food we eat has. So from that standpoint, we'd consider them safe, and we'd say that they're not bad for us.